The power of a singular focus has a remarkable result at the end when we understand why. See, I had to understand, I had to learn how to focus on one thing rather than many, because many wasn't getting accomplished. Even though I was creative, my creativity was being stretched thin because I wasn't able to focus on one thing to grow it. That's when I began to understand I'm a man of talent. I'm very creative, but how can I be creative on one thing and grow in that department and grow in that area and grow in that space? See, I had to learn more about myself to understand that the passion that I have is for speaking. And as I'm speaking, I have to learn how to be myself. As I'm learning how to be myself, I have to have focus on everything that I'm doing for myself. See, I learned that growth happens when I decide to grow and work on myself. See, the reason why there's power in singular focus is because I'm focusing on myself. I have to focus on my mind to learn what this even was, how to not only control myself, but to understand and learn more about the person I'm becoming. As I'm becoming this person, I'm learning there's power in belief. And as there's power in belief, there's power in making the decision for one thing. Yes, I can be creative. Yes, I can have multiple talents. Yes, I can be in multiple things. Yet are those multiple things providing solutions and making me grow, helping me grow? See, I had to learn focusing on one thing is the best way to grow and develop the power that's always in us. What's going on, everybody? My name is Terryl with the Humphrey, and welcome to another episode of Failure is Knowledge. Here at Failure is Knowledge, we speak about growth and how we're personally developing within ourselves. If this is your first time here at Failure is Knowledge, make sure you subscribe and wait towards the end and leave a comment. And also, like the video, because this is going to help you gain more clarity for yourself. So the first part I want to hit on, and this one is really important, it states how it's going to reduce distractions. See, being creative means that we can't really focus on one thing. I had to understand that my mind was all over the place. Yeah, I never knew how to control it. I never knew how to just control the creativity and put it all in one thing. I never understood that until I started working on myself. See, I was distracted from self-development because the lessons wasn't here in front of me. I had to learn. I had to be comfortable with the person that I am, because I can't be the next Eric Thomas. I can't be the next Lewis House. I can't be the next Jay Shetty. Why? Because everybody has their own personalities, and how can we learn more about ourselves if we're not comfortable in everything that we're doing? See, the distractions were saying, yes, these people are at a higher level than me. Yes, these people are more experienced. So how can I be comfortable pursuing my passion? I didn't understand my passion was always in me. I just had to recognize that the distractions was me comparing myself. I wanted to compare myself because that was on a big scale, but I didn't put in factor that they've been doing it for a long amount of time. So yes, they have the reps. Yes, they have the team. Yes, they have the big production. That's the problem where I lacked, because I didn't have clarity in what I wanted to do. Even though I didn't have clarity, I was learning more about myself and how I can be one with the person that I'm becoming. See, the power is understanding. When I focus on myself, I'm learning about who I'm becoming, not the next person is becoming. Why? Because my focus, my focus is all on myself. I have singular focus to learn more about who I'm becoming. I have to learn. I have to be willing to grow and fail and recognize what this lesson was. See, in life, failure is never a punishment. It's a lesson to help us grow. But we have to be willing to fail in order to grow into the best version of ourselves. See, distractions is saying, yes, you're distracted, but nothing is getting done. Yes, you're creative, but nothing's being created. Yes, you have all these ideas, but not one idea is being implemented on. Why? Because we're stretching ourselves too thin, because we're so creative. We got so many ideas, we just can't focus on one. See, the power comes from focusing on one singular goal, one singular thing at a time. because we can't perfect 10 things when we don't even understand one. I had to understand the one was me understanding myself. I had to learn who I was becoming, because who I was, I no longer was this person. I had to accept the fact that I was changing. And as I was changing, I was growing to the best version of myself. Even though the best version had yet to come, I had to be comfortable with taking risks. I had to be comfortable with understanding that distractions came from me not believing in everything that I'm doing. See, the goal behind me learning about myself is identifying the process and the time that it takes to be good. I can't be great overnight if I'm not putting effort into myself. I can't be great and focus on one thing if my one thing is so scattered into many pieces, because our growth comes from us focusing on one singular thing. See, I can't be scattered on many different goals, because many different goals is not it's not my craft. Not only is it not my craft, I have to learn how to be willing to grow and fail and learn how to be comfortable with it. See, distractions come with the goal and the focus is so spread it thin. I can't pick one particular thing I want to learn and grow on, because my ideas and my creativity is all over the place. As it's all over the place, I don't know where to start. I don't know where to start because I have no idea where to begin. I had to learn the ideas are great, yet if I don't have no clarity, the ideas is waste because I'm all over the place. Yes, you could be a many of talent. You can have multiple talents, yet all the talents producing results that you're looking for. That's when I learned. I'm like, oh, okay, yes, I am creative, but it's creative showing me, what is it teaching me? Me having all these ideas, what one idea am I working on right now? I had to have a singular focus on myself to learn what I wanted to do. I had to be willing to go through the multiple doors, multiple opportunities, multiple situations to learn that I have to learn how to say no. The distractions is me saying yes to everything. The distractions is me saying yes to every opportunity, every conversation that comes about for me. I didn't recognize that no was the most powerful thing to say, because my focus became singular on one thing. As it became singular on one thing, I really understood why no was so powerful. I wasn't hurting the next person's feelings. I was protecting my craft. As I'm protecting my craft, I'm learning that I'm becoming more creative because I have a focus on one singular thing. And when I learned that the focus is on one singular thing, that's when I began to grow. That's when I began to develop. That's when I began to learn. Because now I'm learning about myself. As I'm learning about myself, I have to be willing. I have to be willing to say no. I have to say the hard things because I don't want to hurt the next person's feelings. Even though I'm protecting my creativity is growing over time because my focus is on one thing. My focus is on myself. That's when I learned, I'm like, oh, I can be creative, but how can I be creative on one thing? How can I be creative on one thing rather than 10? See, 10 is just ideas and it's distractions, because distractions is me saying yes to all 10. On the contrary, me focusing on one is saying no to the other 9 opportunities. That's where the real power comes from. That's where the real growth comes from. That's where the real recognition is at. Because we have to be aware of the person that we're becoming. We just can't say yes to everything, because as we're saying yes to everything, it's stretching us thin. The next point I want to hit on, this one is really, it goes with the first one. Efficient learning. Right? When we have a singular focus on one thing, we learn efficiently, we learn great, we learn in a different way that's going to help us understand this new language, because the new language that's here in front of us is so confusing. Even though it's so confusing, it's meant to be learned. It's meant to be learned because we're putting focus on this craft and this creativity to grow into our success. I remember when I began making videos, making content, it was so hard for me to find my voice because I didn't like how I sounded. I'm thinking, how can I change my voice when I'm editing a video? How can I change what I sound like? How can I change how I appear on camera? Then I learned I can't change. That's something that I cannot change. My creativity doesn't come from me trying to change myself. See, not only did I try to change my appearance and my voice, it was destroying my creativity because my mind and my process were going towards the wrong thing. Not only was it going towards the wrong thing, it was going towards the wrong energy because I can't change I can grow into myself, but I can't change who I am. That's when I learned. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm trying to change the wrong thing. I'm putting out my time and effort into the wrong thing. That's when I began to learn. I'm like, oh, okay, there's a process behind the creativity. The creativity gets developed when I start focusing on myself. When I start gaining clarity on the person I'm becoming, I have to be willing to recognize that growth happens and it's not changing the person that I am. I have to be comfortable with growth and change will follow. I just can't change. But I can't change who I am. I am who I am. I can evolve. I can grow. I can get smarter. I can get more creative. I can gain more skills. See, we have to be willing we have to become willing to learn what this language even is. What this language consists of and how it's going to help us grow in life. Thus, growing in life is an option. Oftentimes we remain the same because we're so afraid to focus on our creativity. See, our creativity gets stretched so thin because our distractions is pulling us all over the place. When I learned how to say no, my focus got more clear. As I'm getting more clear, efficient learning starts taking place. As it's taking place, I never thought I would be able to pronounce some words I never thought I would be able to see some words I never thought I'd be able to pronounce the words I never saw before. Because repetition builds progress, and progress comes from action, comes from taking action. I've learned the best way to grow is to be comfortable with the person that you are. And see, when I realized I had to be comfortable with me, I grew. I didn't change. You can't change yourself. I grew into a better version of myself because I started learning new words, new information, new books, new skills, new tactics. I put that focus on myself because the focus came back on me because I understood what I was working towards. I had a singular focus on my craft, and my craft developed the creativity because it was focused on one thing. It wasn't stretched thin, it was just really stretched enough. Not only was it stretched, it was forcing me to use my brain in a different way that I never thought it could be productive in. Why? Because we have to understand that the focus is rewarding us our craft. That's when I understood. I'm like, oh, there's a process behind this. I just can't be everything, but I can be myself. I can be great being me. I can't be great being the next person because the next person is them. That's when I learned. I'm like, oh, okay, I have to be comfortable with myself. I have to be comfortable with myself, and I have to really learn the skill on self-development because self-development takes place every single day if we put effort towards it. If the effort is in the growth, we just can't grow and evolve without taking action. We can't take action on one thing if our focus is so scattered all over the place. See, distractions will have you unclear. See, when you let go of distractions, you get more focused, you gain more clarity, you understand why you're saying no. See, efficient learning is saying, I'm saying no because I'm working on one particular thing at a time. I'm working on one particular thing at a time because my power is being developed. I would like to help, but I can't help with everything. I would like to put the time and effort and make sure you're okay. But if I'm doing it, I'm taking away time from my craft. See, I understood that creativity is always in us. We just think that we are a talent of many, which is absolutely fine. I remember I played football. I was great at football. But when I tried to play basketball, I wasn't that great. Because my time, my effort, my energy, my practices, my training went towards football. I only played basketball on the weekends or when football practice was out. That's when I understood that my focus was primarily on football. It wasn't on basketball because I wasn't playing that sport. I wasn't training it, nor was I learning it. That's what happens. The shiny object will pull us in that direction, and it's taken away from everything that we just put time and effort in. That's when I understood efficient learning is saying I'm gonna focus on one thing. As I'm focusing on one thing, I'm growing in this area of self. As I'm growing in this area of self, I'm learning why and how to be more efficient. I can only be efficient if I decide. And the reason why I'm deciding is because I'm focused on one singular thing. One singular task, one singular craft, because my craft can't be stretched too thin. It can only be built up. That's when I understood the power of no is protecting your creativity. Before I get to the last point, this Wednesday, I'm hosting a free webinar on how to repurpose your pain into your passion. And it's a webinar on how we're overcoming our hard times and how our hard times guide us in our passion. See, we all have a passion, but we have to face tough times to learn what this passion really is. See, what you go through is how you help people, but you have to grow through it to learn how to. See, this Wednesday, I'm hosting a free webinar, Repurpose Your Pain into Your Passion. And it's going to really dive deep with how we can learn more about ourselves. If you'd like to register for the free webinar this Wednesday at 2:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the link will be in the description. Click it, register, sign up, and I look forward to seeing you there. The last point I want to hit on is enhanced productivity. Enhanced productivity. Earlier, I just mentioned something about football on how I was putting my time, my energy, my effort, my training, my practices. I dedicated that time for one thing, and the results from that led me to be an all-conference, all-time defensive player, and it led me to be one of the top defense players in the league or in the conference. But I remember my senior year, by game number 4, I was leading the linebackers. I was leading defense, not just our team, but the conference in tackles, because I had 38 tackles in 4 games. That's 9 tackles. That's on the average, that's 9 tackles per game. Why is it so important to recognize that the enhanced productivity comes from one thing? Because I had to work on the fundamentals. I had to work on the skills. I had to work on the tactics. I had to work on the footwork, because if the footwork wasn't good, the tackle was going to be off. If the tackle was going to be off, the time is going to be off. See, there's a process behind the craft, yet the creativity has to be worked on every single day. That's what I was doing in football. I was working on my craft every single day. And the end result showed and displayed how much I worked on my craft. See, the reason why it's enhanced productivity, because my focus is on one thing. My focus is not stretched thin, because I'm not trying to play basketball and football. I just want to be the best player I can be. I don't want to compare myself to the other players, because if I'm comparing myself to the other players, I'm not in my potential. I'm not I'm not doing my best, because my best is compared to the next. Why? Because I'm so confused. I don't believe in myself, and myself is so worried about what's going on around us. See, enhanced productivity is focusing on one singular thing. One singular thing, and that's when I learned I have to really dive into myself. I have to dive into myself and just be comfortable with the person that I'm becoming. Why? Because I'm focused on me. I'm learning my craft. I'm building my creativity. See, when we understand that your growth comes from focus, and focus grows to productivity, there's little things that we miss that we don't understand. Because we wasn't ready for what we was working on with ourselves, because we were stretched too thin. As we're not stretching ourselves too thin anymore, we understand that the things that we need to learn will help us be better later on in life. That's when I understood that the power is in singularly focusing on one thing, on one task, on one job, one goal, one opportunity, one craft, one creativity. Why? Because if my focus is dialed in on one thing, the productivity comes, because I know how to be myself. As I'm being myself, I'm learning new skills. I'm learning, I'm efficiently learning on how to be productive for myself. Why? Because the focus is singularly on one thing. And as just on one thing, I understand why this is so powerful. And it's so powerful because productivity is being displayed on a daily basis. When I recognized that productivity comes from a daily basis, I wanted to do it every day. Because I saw something in myself that I didn't recognize. What I saw was belief, was focus, was effort, was creativity. Yes, I have a lot of ideas. Yes, I believe I'm a talent of many. Yeah, I'm only focusing on one thing, that's to perfect my speaking every single day. Perfect my craft every single day, because every single day there's a better opportunity for me to be productive. There's one focus. One focus will find and discover the skills and the tactics and the skills, tactic, and the way to actually be efficient. I can't be efficient if I'm not learning and trying. I have to be willing to learn and try and fail and pick myself up from this failure to recognize that it's not the end of the world. However, this is how you can do it differently. This is how, instead of having that result, you can have this result because of you learn more from your failure. So we have to be willing to fail, because the failures have lessons right behind them. That's when I understood. I'm like, oh, there's a skill that has to be developed every single day, because my focus is on myself and my craft of speaking publicly. Now, when I speak publicly, the practice and the reps has been put in. And now when I get put on the spot, it comes natural. Why? Because the productivity has been enhanced, and as it is enhancing, I have efficiently learned how to focus on one skill. That's when the skill became the focus, because the focus determined the growth. If you got value from this, leave in the comments on how you're going to focus on one thing and perfect it every single day. And before you leave, click this video right here to watch more videos on how you can personally develop within yourself. I appreciate it.